Namaste, it is so great to have you here with me. Today I will talk about two things: deep reinforcement learning and its connection to autonomous driving. As you all know, deep reinforcement learning is about training a neural network in a reinforcement learning situation, which basically translates to that you have an agent which is fueled by a neural network and its behavior is steered by rewards. If your agent does something right, it gets a positive reward, and if your agent does something wrong, it gets a negative reward. So, over time, your agent is going to learn acceptable behavior based on the rewards you provide it with. The overall idea is that you create an intelligent agent which helps you in traffic, basically doing everything for you while you are sitting in a car reading a very, very good book. Did you know that you can do autonomous driving at home? This is something, it's a certain trend that I've observed recently. In the last couple of years, more and more people were able to do autonomous driving at home. Recently, I did a couple of experiments in general with deep reinforcement learning. I took a couple of environments. This is basically where your agent is going to be situated, usually some simulations of some sorts, and I trained deep reinforcement learning agents inside of those environments. Basically, I took one of these agents, threw it into the environment, and let it learn correct behaviors. I did experiments with Flappy Bird, I did another experiment with Doom, and yesterday I did an experiment with autonomous driving. Duckietown is a real environment, so it's something that you have in the real world. It's a small-scale town of some sorts. It has pedestrians modeled as tiny little ducks, and it also has streetlights, which your agent is supposed to see and understand, and of course there's many roads where your agent can drive on. And the overall task is, in this tiny little environment, to solve the self-driving task. So navigating the roads without hitting anything, including especially pedestrians. Fortunately, there's a simulator available as well, which makes things a little easier. Good thing is that people already showed that if you train a deep reinforcement learning agent in some simulation, then the trained behaviors, the learned behaviors from the simulation can be applied to the real world. So, very good, because you train something in a simulation, letting it learn from scratch the good behavior, and as soon as your agent is quite good in the simulation, you migrate it and retrain it on a real world. In a simulator, you can afford your agent to drive into obstacles. Does not really cause any harm. If you do it in the real world, well, running into obstacles is not really that preferred. So how did I solve that? Very easy. Fortunately, on the internet you can find a GitHub repository with a gym-compatible Duckietown simulator. You can pip install it and it's freely available to everyone. The next thing, I took Keras-RL. Keras-RL is an excellent framework for deep reinforcement learning agents based on Keras. I created a tiny little training script, I tweaked a couple of hyperparameters, and then I ran the training script on my computer. And I found out that after a couple of hours of training on my machine, the agent is already good at following a lane. Well, this is a quite easy task to solve. It is one of the most basic tasks in autonomous driving, but it's a good start. Because basically I showed that inside a simulation I can train an agent to do lane following, which is of course the first step you have to do in autonomous driving. And this is something that I usually suggest to people. Start small. Do tiny little baby steps. Solve a small problem. And once you got a small problem solved, go to the next one, which is a little bit more complicated. So, assuming that lane following is a simple one, next thing could be, for example, navigating through crossroads or even detecting and according with respect to streetlights. So, feel free to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you would like to support me monetarily, you can even become a patron on my Patreon account. All the links you will find down in the description. Thank you very much. See you around. Namaste.